Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. Today we will begin with the Guru Dhyanam. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Bimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Usually, every Wednesday, we study the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. But today, we will be discussing on two great spiritual giants, two great spiritual personalities of India, Sri Shankara Acharya and Sri Ramanuja Acharya. Yesterday, it was their Tithi Puja, so I thought that it will be good to remember them, because all the scriptures that we study, all the philosophical viewpoints that we get, mainly from these two. Philosophy of a society is the real identity of that particular race. How much property that we are having, wealth that we are having, that is not the identity of a human race. Human race is mainly on their thoughts, and almost 10,000 years before, India realized Veda. I said realized, it is not discovered, because within them they realized, and then the Veda means the vast knowledge. Swami Vivekananda has given a very wonderful definition. It is a vast knowledge. And how they realized it? After observing and very carefully, systematically analyzing the nature, external and internal. Now, the truth, which is also known in Sanskrit as Satya. Satya is the truth. This, when we call it truth, the Satya, it is unchanging. It is the unchanging reality, one without a second, and that is the source of the whole creation. That is, from the spiritual point of view, the Indian philosophy, they always say like that, then, and everyone wants to get the answer about the creation, and where from it came, who created it, how it was created, and what is ultimately going to happen. These are the questions constantly haunting. Almost all societies, human societies, all over the world and different times, they try to get the reply to this. Science approach is different, because the science means the external objects, and human have five only, the instrument we can say by which we can understand. That is through the eye, we see and then we try to understand. We hear and then we try to understand. We taste, we touch, we smell. These are the only five things by which we try to understand. Now, because of as the passes of time, the human being developed and it has become more subtle and subtlest, they have created some of the instruments by which they can see far, far away. Through eyes, we can see only a few in distance. But with the instruments, we can see much the longer distances. So, that much, but we see only, hearing the same way, smelling the same way, but only with these five sense objects and sense the organs, if we are trying to understand we cannot get the truth. I am using the word truth, that's Satya, unchanging. And that's why all the decisions, all the discoveries of the science are constantly changing. And that is the reason. But the spiritual truth, this is also the same way analysis, and they go much deeper and deeper. And then they come with that realization. In the Upanishad we find the description is there that the great scholars, in the same way, they were also trying to understand things from the outside world, the manifested world, this created world. The pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmana. Brahmana means the intellectual people, they were examining. Then ultimately they didn't get the answer because everything is changing. And anything that is changing is going to be destroyed. Anything that is made of is going to be destroyed. It is called janna padartha. Janna, you can create it by mixing different things. You can create it. And the moment you are creating, it is going to be destroyed. So these subtle points, some of the people they understood and they tried to know, what about us? What happened to us? What is this body? What is this mind? Who am I? Let me try to understand this. So that research is started. And it is again in the Upanishad, they give the hint. They never registered one after another systematically. Otherwise, it could have been a wonderful the document. They just give the hint. Kaschid dhira pratyagatmanamakshat abritta chakshu amritattamichan. Amritatta means the eternal life. Well, from here they say, not a single being, no one wants to die. Where from we got that trait? Where from got that we like to enjoy, we like to know, we don't like to die? Where from all these things came? Certainly it has not come. It must be the Creator or the thing with which they have created, or He has created us, the human being and other beings. Each and every being, they like to survive, even the trees. It has been proved by Jagadish Chandra Bose that in the 19th century, in the beginning itself, he has proved that if you are going and beating the trees, they are afraid when you are approaching them. So obviously, each and everything has the life, and it is afraid, and it likes to survive, it likes to live, and we like to know, and we want the happiness. These are the three things. This common thing that we find in every being, the three, will each and every being like to survive. Where from this trait came? Must be the Creator. So they said the Creator is Sat. Sat means eternal existence. In English they say SAT, in Bengali Sat, and Sanskrit Sa-da. This Sat means the eternal existence. Then Chit, eternal knowledge, the unending knowledge, so much that when we know, oh, this we know and it is complete, not at all. So no fathom, unfathomable knowledge. And then finally, Ananda, the bliss, eternal bliss. Sat Chit Ananda Sarupa, they gave the name Brahman. And from here the philosophy, that is the uniqueness of that human race who could discover this. The most ancient religion scripture, the Rig Veda, it says Ekam Sad. Sad, that one which is eternal, is Ekam, is one. It has no two. Other religions are also saying the same way. It cannot be two, it is only one. But the explanations are different. In that Rig Veda, which is so ancient as almost 10,000 years old, the most ancient scripture of the human race, and when it says Ekam Sad, but next line it says Vipra Bahudha Badanti. Bahudha Badanti. They say they are addressing that one in different names. Why? Because the different nature, different understanding, different attitude, different capacity to express. The same thing in a different way, they say. Swami Vivekananda very wonderfully mentioned that we are traveling from lower truth to higher truth, not from wrong to truth, no, from lower truth to higher truth. This when we understand, and we will understand the philosophy. But today we will concentrate on the two great personalities who explained this truth. Now, why they needed to explain? That's called the Upanishad. What is the Vedanta? This is called Upanishad. Upanishad, the name that they call it, this is the knowledge that gives us or takes us close to that truth, and giving the hint again and again, because it cannot be said directly. This is this, you cannot say like that. So, give the hint, a different way they try to give an idea. And when they are trying to give the idea, that is the decisive statements, They are, Upanishads are not going to explain to you why they say like that. Ishabhasyam idam sarvam, the statement. And it is not going to explain why. There are acharyas, acharya means the teachers. It is their job, it is their responsibility to explain. And here comes the differences. Why the same scripture, it has been explained in so many different ways. That's why so many different philosophies, so many different paths, and we always wonder why the same God is there or same truth is there, why there should be so many. That is in one way good, because it gives the liberty to understand in my own way. Why should I have to always follow yours, accept yours? You think that is the correct way to understand the truth, good. But I have every right to understand in my own way. So, this is the total freedom in the Vedanta. This freedom that we are going to discuss it in the Parliament of Religion. Friends, you must be knowing that the Parliament of Religion that happened in 1893, after 100 years, 1993, in Chicago again, an organization was formed, and by different religious leaders, Parliament of Religion, and from then onwards it is continuing, and they are organizing meets in different countries. It has come back to Chicago again this year in 2023. It will be in August 14 to 18. For your knowledge, I like to say it now, 14 to 18. Almost everything is ready. The huge place is there, McCormick Place. Those who are in Chicago and in America, they know it. There's a McCormick Place. It is almost like 20-25,000 people can accommodate. Over there, there's so many halls are there. So it will be there. We are going to represent, because the theme is freedom, and we are going to express that freedom from the Vedantic point of view. What is Vedantic point of view? You have every right to understand from your own viewpoint. The Sattva, Raja, Tama, three qualities are there, and according to that, people they understand. In the Bhagavata also, the same discussions are there. Now, here today, as because the April 25th, 2023 was the the two philosophers, Tithi was their Janma Tithi, the birth anniversary of Sri Shankara and Sri Ramanuja. So let us know about them a little and pay our respect to these two great acharyas, and we will try to understand why they differ. Acharya Shankar, he is the propagator, rejuvenator, we can say, the absolute Vedanta, the pure Advaita Vedanta, Advaita. Why the A means negative, Dvaita means two. There is no two. There is only one. So, Advaita. But the Ramanuja Acharya, he is also an Acharya, he is also a teacher. He added, no, it is something special is there. We will try to understand their differences. He said Vishishta Advaita. Advaita again, but Vishishta is a qualified, is a special. So, the 44 years before Christ, in Vaishakh Shukla Panchami, in Kaladi, in Kerala state, in India, Shankara was born. Before Jesus Christ, 44 years before Jesus. And Sri Ramanuja, he was born in 1017th century in Sri Perembudur, that is also again in southern side of India. He was born. His father was Asuri Keshava Bhatta and mother Kanti Mati. Now Shankara, at the age of 8, took sannyasa. I am not going in details of that life, that Shankara's father passed away very early, and Shankara at the age of 8, when he was bathing in the river, that still the river is there, and we have an ashrama where the Shankaracharya was born. Adjacent to that, we have our ashrama, Ramakrishna Mission ashrama. I had the luck to visit that place. It's a very holy place, and the river is still flowing, and that particular place where Shankara went and was taking bath. If you know these stories and you go and stand over there and reflect on those, that is a meditation. There's a meditating that the young boy, 8 years old, and shaven head. In those days, the boys used to have that, and with the dhoti, the putting on, he is bathing, and suddenly there was a crocodile, and he caught that boy, and the boy requested his mother, "Mother, I am going to die. Please permit me to take sannyasa." He requested his mother to give the permission to take sannyasa, but mother said, "You are so young, and if you leave, with whom shall I live? I am alone. Your father has passed away. You are my only source. I cannot give the permission." Well, by this way, he got the permission from his mother. Mother saw that the boy is going to die. There is no way to save him. Then ultimately to fulfill the wish. But see, this is the miracle. The moment the mother gave yes permission, you can take sannyas, immediately the crocodile left the boy and went away. The boy came up and told, "Since I have already taken the decision and you have given the permission, I cannot go to the home. A sannyasi is not supposed to go to home. So I will be leaving outside for some time, and with your permission, I will go for my guru." The 8 years old, the young boy, he took sannyasa, and then went for searching for his guru. And on the bank of the holy river Narmada, he found his guru, the Govindapada. And his guru was, Govindapada's guru was Gaudapada. The Gaudapada, Govindapada and Sri Shankara. So this is that Guru Parampara, this is the tradition. And suddenly someone declares that I am the Guru and I don't have any Parampara, I don't have any tradition, I am just having all this knowledge. It is doubtful, in tradition, and in India they always respect the tradition. Why? Because someone realized it, and from their next, and each and every one following the same instructions they realize the same truth. That proves this is very scientific. And whoever, the first one it may be, and he realized that, and it came down, down, down. And every time we find someone or other following the same spiritual path, realizing the same truth, and that is manifested in his life, that gives the conviction, oh yes, this is the tested path. So that is called parampara. That is called the tradition, the guru parampara. So at the age of 8, he went on the bank of the river Narmada. It's a very holy river. Hindus, they respect this river. And he studied under his guru, the Govinda Bhagavad Pada, a great scholar. Ramanuja, we don't know much about when he was young, but as per the tradition in vogue in those days, he also went along with his one of the cousin brother Govinda to study under a teacher, Sri Jadav Prakasha. Jadav Prakasha was also an Advaita Vedantin teacher. Both of them, they went over there, and we can understand they learned the Vedanta only. This young talent actually surpassed his guru, his teacher. And sometimes he used to explain in a different way, but the guru is explaining and the teacher, he used to explain in a different way. Why? Because basically he was a devotee, very strong devotee, and he was very intelligent. So he could express in his own way, quoting the scripture, he could establish his own idea. So that way, slowly, slowly, there was a rift, there was the gap between the Sri Jadav Prakash, the teacher, and Sri Ramanuja, the student. And there was a great hot debate one day on the explanation of Kapyasa. That is, in the Chandogya Upanishad, there is a word, the Kapyasa. And both of them, they were explaining in a completely different way. From the pure Advaitic Vedanta way, the Sri Jadav Prakash, and from the devotional way, with the love and devotion and accepting the existence of God, Ramanuja was explaining in a different way. Now, naturally, Ramanuja was separated and he left the Guru Griha, came back to his mother, explained everything to his mother, and mother told, it's okay. Now you are sufficiently educated as a Brahmin, and you will be able to perform puja and earn the livelihood. You better marry and settle down. In those days, the early marriage, like the 16, 17 years, they used to get get married. So he was married, and his house was in Kanchi. Sri Shankara, he was from 8 years old boy, and he was studying, and he had a great respect for his guru and this Govinda Pada. And Shankara, from the 8 years to 12 years, he learned all the scriptures. 8 to 12. Friends, that are called Vedantic scriptures. So, for the different way, we have to understand there are so many 4 Vedas and so many Upanishads. And from those Upanishads you are studying, and also the other teachers' explanations he studied the Sanskrit grammar also, and like that he completed everything from 8 to 12. Within 4 years he completed. So that was an excellent intellect. From 8 years to 12 years, he completed all the study. Then, with the permission of his master, he went to Badrikashram and also visited the Kashi, because that was the seat of learning. Even today, the Kashi, the Banaras, is a seat of learning. there's a Hindu, all the scriptures, study, and the wonderful life. In any way, from 8 to 12 he studied, and from 12 to 16, these years he dedicated to write his own philosophy. He wrote all these books and the bhashyas. Bhashyas means explanation on the statements of the Veda. So the Upanishads, we know that Shankaracharya Bhashya and all the 11 Upanishads, and then on the Brahma Sutra. The Brahma Sutra, all the 4 Vedas and the so many Upanishads, one should have everything in his mind when he is explaining. The sutra, aphorisms, the small, almost half line you can say, giving the truth, giving the idea. Because so vast everything, and here, that was the mastermind. He wrote that, Shankara wrote the commentary on that. And from 16 to 22, these years, he traveled all over the length and breadth of India. He went up to Assam, he went to Gujarat, he went to Badrikashram, and he went down to the south. He was belonging from the Kerala, from the south. So each and every place he visited at that young age, and he was going on debating with 2 different people. First, at that time, India was very strongly influenced by the Buddhism. And the Buddhist scholars, they converted the kings. Many of the kings, they were supporting Buddhism. And when the rulers or the kings are supporting some of the philosophy or the religion, so obviously it becomes very difficult, because the king's opinions become very strong in that. It's not based on the philosophy, it's because the king wants to do it or say like this or explain like this. So you have to consider, because king, is the powerful, is an administrator. So it happened with Ramanuja's life. He had to flee from here to there because he was not having the same opinion with the king. He was protesting. So kings are, when entering into the religion, that is the main problem. They are not practicing the philosophy. So after the philosophy is there, and if you are not practicing that in your life and not realizing the truth in your life, how can you explain that? Just after reading and then just superficial idea and giving a dictum, as because I am a king, I am powerful, whatever I say, you must have to admit that. By that way, they ruined the philosophies. It was happening. The Shankaracharya, he was traveling in different parts and he was arguing with the people, and in those days it was excellent. You can understand, say almost 50 years before Jesus Christ. So the India, it was the excellent, but he was debating with the Buddhists and he was defeating them and re-establishing the Vedanta. That is the great job he did, because there are many the loopholes are there in that philosophy. So he was trying to re-establish. And only 16 to 22, these many years, when he was 16 years old, as a teenager, and going and visiting, Shankara's first disciple is called Sanandan. The Sanandan who became famous as Padmapada Acharya. This Shankara then met Kumaril Bhatta in Prayag. Prayag is also a very holy place for the Hindus, and the 3 rivers are coming and mixing with there, so that is called Prayag. This he made that Kumaril Bhatta, who accepted Buddhism, and afterwards, understanding the flaw in the philosophy, he left that and criticized Buddhism. But then look at the truthfulness of these people. He felt, the Kumaril Bhatta felt, I accepted from my Guru and I am supposed to be dedicated to my Guru for all through my life. But now I refuted, and obviously I have committed sin. I have gone against the Guru. Though I know whatever I am saying is true, but still to give an example that one should be always dedicated to the Guru, he decided to kill himself. And how? In a slow burning fire called Tushanala. Tusha, the skin of the rice, that when you are burning, it burns very slowly, but terrible fire. And if you are just going inside, then you are, as the fire woods are burning and you just jump yourself and you die, the pain is short. But it is not like that. It is a slowly, it's a making this. That's called Tushanala. So he committed that and he said that I am going to die, so in that way. But Shankara came to talk with him to understand, because he was a great personality, great soul. But at that time, he was almost on the verge of his death. And Shankara went, met him, and it's said that he gave him a mantra, the Tarak Brahma mantra. And Kumaril Bhatta received that and peacefully passed away. Then he went to Magadha. Magadha, the great kingdom in those days, very powerful kingdom. That's the present-day Bihar. It was very highly developed country at that time, this Magadha. In the Mahabharata also, the Magadha king was very powerful. He went to the Magadha, and there was a city in Magadha called Mahishmati. This Mahishmati, in that city, there lived a great personality of Purva Mimamsak. He is Mandan Mishra. These are all very known facts and very famous facts. Those who know the life of Sri Shankara, they know. So he went and requested him to sit with him for a debate. But Mandan Mishra was so confident. He said, see, I can debate with you. And this Mimamsa means you are supposed to do all the yajnas. And that will give you peace and happiness and ultimate the goal of your life. That is called Purva Mimamsa, and Vedanta is Uttara Mimamsa, afterwards. It is Purva, the before. Purva means before. And the Mimamsa, it is decisive. So this before the decision, that is called Purva Mimamsa, they mainly support the yajnas, the ritualistic way. And he said you have to accept the one challenge. What is that challenge? If I can defeat you, then you have to go back and marry and settle as a householder. Shankara says, okay. He accepted the challenge. And he said, well, suppose I defeat you, then you have to give up the hearth and home and become a sannyasi and follow me. Mandan Mishra, he was so confident, he accepted it. And in these two great scholars, when they were debating, the judge was Mandan Mishra's wife, Bharati Devi. Friends, it shows that even at the time of Sri Shankaracharya, the great scholars among the women, they were there. The India always was very free. Education was loved by each and every one. It was not only for the boys or the male, both boys and girls, the male and female, they could learn. Right from the Vedic age, we have found so many highly educated Vedic ladies, then up to Shankara also. Then afterwards, from the 11th century, the slowly it declined, and naturally some of the distorted the people, they came and they took the leadership in the spiritual life, religious life, and they said the women should not study the Veda and all those things. But Shankaras, when they were debating this, Mandan Mistra's wife, Bharati Devi, she was the judge. And Shankara defeated the Mandana Misra. And according to the condition, Mandan Misra left the hearth and home, became a sannyasi, and his name was Shureshwara Acharya. He became a very strong supporter of Shankara philosophy. Not only that, he entered into those dens of the Shaivite and Kapalikas. So they were the worshippers of the Shiva and the Shakti, mainly in Maharashtra. When he went over there, there was a Kapalika. He wanted to kill him, to offer his aid at the feet of the goddess. To believe that then he will get all the supernatural power. Shankara quietly accepted that. But somehow it was good fortune for all of us that his disciple came to know about it, and with his the spiritual power, he saved Shankara from that terrible accident. The Shankara then went in different parts of the India, and he in 4 different corners he made the 4 main matas and instructed his 4 main disciples to be in charge of that. That tradition still there, and they are also known as Shankaracharya. That is Shankaracharya again. So there is a confusion. The present day Shankaracharya and the first Shankaracharya. That's why mostly you will find, to indicate the actual original Shankaracharya, we say Adi Shankaracharya. Adi means the original. Adi means original. So Adi Shankaracharya, and present Shankaracharyas it may be, it has become a title. So like that. So this is, and then afterwards he classified the different type of sannyasins in 10 different groups. He completely rejuvenated the Hinduism, and mainly he gave stress on monastic life, so that these people, those who are not attached with the social life, married life, they will be able to roam around all over the country. They can go to village, hamlets to hamlets, and the remote places of the country, and can distribute the high moral values. The human being are not like the animals. Only the body consciousness and the pleasure, body pleasure. Now you see the people, they very openly are talking about all these things and thinking that is the most modern way they are living. No, they're actually going down to the animal level. The animals, they don't have any shy or anything to hide their different type of the mental conditions. Is that the human life? No. So the tradition is to restrain the mind, all the pleasures that we like to get. We have to control them. And that is the fight, that is the thing that it makes the human life strong. The Shankara, he used the sannyasins to do that, and afterwards, in the modern age, with the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, they again the great followers of Shankara, the philosophy, Advaita Vedanta. The same work is going on and in more extensively. Then about the Ramanuja Acharya. The Ramanuja, after coming back and after the married life, he was thinking what to do and what not to do. Then he was visited Srirangam. I don't know how many of you have visited the Srirangam. It's a beautiful, the Vishnu, the statue is there. He visited, he saw that, and he was overwhelmed. And there's a beautiful stotras that he composed and he worshipped, and the devotion that welled up in his mind, and this is a great pull that he felt over there. In that, he was initiated by Mahapurna Nambi. And Mahapurna Nambi and he came back to his own house, Ramanuja's house, in Kanchi. And there it happened that his wife committed three the mistakes that Ramanuja never accepted. First, someone came to talk to Ramanuja, and he sat before Ramanuja. When the gentleman left, knowing that he is not a Brahmin and the low caste, his wife was washing that particular place with the water to purify. Ramanuja never liked it, and he told his wife that never do it, because if you are hating the human being, you are hating the God. The God is residing in him. Don't hate. So these are the things, the wonderful teaching, the great teachers they give, but we forget, we don't follow them in this way. The Ramanuja, he asked his wife not to do this. Second, Ramanuja's wife had a debate, and they were quarreling, and she used some strong language against the wife of Ramanuja's guru, that is Mahapurna Nambi. Ramanuja disliked it very much. And thirdly, when some hungry people came to Ramanuja, and Ramanuja asked his wife to feed them, he took them, but without feeding them, asked them to go away from there. When Ramanuja came to know about it, his heart broke. He asked his wife to go back to his parents, and he took sannyasa. The Ramanuja took a sannyasa in that way, and at Srirangam, Ramanuja again took initiation from Goshtipurna. First he took initiation in Mahapurna Nambi, and he took initiation in Goshtipurna. Goshtipurna gave him a very powerful mantra and asked him not to disclose it to anyone, naturally in that way. But the Ramanuja's mind was very broad. So one day, the day he received the mantra, the story goes like this: the day he received the mantra, and his guru warned him, you should not disclose it to the others. The moment you are uttering it loudly, and immediately you will lose all power and will go to hell. But those who will listen, they will be benefited, they will go to heaven. Hearing that, Ramanuja immediately, after receiving the mantra, he went to a very high place, and from there he addressed all the people around there and uttered that mantra. Then he came back to his guru. Guru was not at all happy, but Ramanuja said, "Sir, I will go to hell, but look at it. Just because of your blessings and your power, so many people, just by hearing that mantra, will go to heaven." His guru became happy hearing his words and understanding his kind heart. This Ramanuja, slowly, he developed the Vishishta Advaita, the explanations of the how these world and the human being. So that is called spatial. We will try to go through the differences between Advaita and Vishishta Advaita a little. He had debate with Advaita Vadins, and after a long and eventful life, in the meantime twice some people wanted to kill him, and he was somehow saved. The kings were not very happy in the way he was explaining the things, so they also tried to harm him. The Ramanujacharya had to hide in different places and save himself in that way. Then ultimately he gave his 71 disciples the responsibility, and then at the age of 120 years, when he was 120 years, in 1137 century, he passed away. These are the two great souls that the friends we discussed today, and that's why in the beginning itself, they are the gurus, so we meditated on the guru. Now, what is the difference between the Shankara and Ramanuja? And the few things that we like to explain over here. According to Shankara Advaita Vedanta, it's a ekam eva advityam. See, only three things. Again and again I say in my talk that three things that we have to explain. Who is the creator? And what is this creation? And what is the relation between the creator and the creation? So, who is the creator? According to Advaita Vedanta, it is ekam, one, eva, truly, advityam, without two. See, it is giving the stress on not two. The moment you say it is one, the conception of two will automatically come. That should not, you should not think in that way. So, they say it is ekam, ekam means one, eva, eva means stress, truly it is one. Then they say advityam or negative ditya two, that means there is no two. And the sajatiya, bijatiya, sagata, veda, sunna, we cannot explain right this moment, the time is short, that how it is one. There are many other philosophies are there, religions are there, they also say God is one. But how it is one? That is sajatiya, bheda, shunya. Sajatiya, let me tell in brief, sajatiya means the same type of category, same way. Is it like this? Suppose there are cows are there, hundreds of cows. One horse is also there. So, is it like that? So, bijatiya, the horse and the cow. A horse is one, but the cows are there. Do you mean that type of one? The among many is a separate, standing out? No. And the same sajatiya also the same way, they are all trees. But among the trees there is a mango tree in other trees. No, it is also not. Sajatiya, bijatiya and sagata. Sagata means, suppose I am a human being, I have two hands, two legs, and etc., etc., all these limbs. Is it like that? No. So, we have to understand it. Maybe someday we will discuss in details. So, there is no difference, it is only one. So, we have to think about that without any the second chance to explain it. Oh, it was having the hands. No, you cannot explain like that. So, that is why through words one cannot explain it, only one can feel the sajatiya, vijatiya, sagata veda. Ramanuja, he says no. Brahman is one and Brahman is having no two, that is true, but it has parts. He accepts the sagata veda. Sagata veda means parts. And how is the parts? The jiva and jagata. Jiva means the being, and this universe is the part of the great creator. This is the difference. Shankara says no difference, it is all same, and what you see is nothing, it is not the creation, it is that superimposition, it is like the mirages, it is like the dream that you see, though you feel it is true, it is actually not true. But Ramanuja says no, it is different, because we feel, so he felt in that way. So, Swagata Veda, he mentioned, he accepts that Brahman is one, he accepts that Brahman is not two, but at the same time he says it has a Shagata Veda. Shankara says Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anandam, as I was telling, Satchidananda. Satyam means eternal, Jnanam means the knowledge, Anandam the bliss, and that is the Brahman, and it is like a Shakshi, it is the witness, it never works. Ramanuja says no, it has the gunas, it is not nirguna, it is swaguna. There is a qualified monism. The one is monism and it is called qualified monism. It is one, it is not two, but it has qualities. What are the qualities? It is kind, it is graceful, and like that saguna. All the great qualities, good qualities, all it is here. So that is the difference between Shankara and Ramanuja, Advaita and Vishishta Advaita. But the moment you accept that it has the qualities, immediately it becomes naturally it can break, it can be destroyed. And that we have to understand, that is the debate it goes on. Shankara is a Bibartavada. Bibarta means truly it is not created. Like as an example, from the milk, curd comes, curd becomes. If the milk becomes the curd, then it is completely different. From that curd, it cannot become the milk. The yogurt, as they call it over here, the yogurt cannot become the milk. Milk has been transformed into yogurt. That means it is total change. Shankara says, no, it cannot be. The Brahman is completely nirguna, without any qualities. Sattva, Raja, Tama, it is not there. And the srishti that you see, the creation that you see, is the imagination. So it is called Bibartavada, as if it is created, as if it is, you see that. As we see in our dream, there are so many things, but actually it is not true. Similarly, in our so-called real life, it is also like this. But Ramanuja Parinamavadi. Ramanuja says no. Jagat is the parinama, the transformation of Brahman. The same Brahman, the one, it has transformed into that Jagat. Jagat means this universe. So this is the difference. Shankara says Jiva, Abhasha, Pratibimba. That Jiva, the individual self, it is like Pratibimba. Pratibimba means reflection. The sunlight falling on the mirror, giving the light, giving the warmth. And if you use that on a piece of paper, it will burn. So that power is also there. But it is the reflected light, it is not the real life, real light. Similarly, the jiva, it has an intellect and it is very sharp, and the consciousness reflecting on, not on the body, not on the mind, but on the intellect, buddhi of the jiva. It is like the mirror. And when it is reflecting, we see the power. We can think, we can cognize, we can move, we can talk, we can do everything. So we feel we are. So the ego comes from there. Where from the ego comes? From the reflection. But actually it is not true. This is the explanation of the Shankara. But the Ramanuja naturally says, no, this is not. This is the manifestation. The same qualities, the properties of the God, the Brahman, is present in the individual self also, in the jiva. How? And he says, he gives an example that like the fire and the sparks. The sparks are also the fire, though separated from the actual fire. All the properties of the fire, like the burning capacity, giving the light, everything is present, in that tiny little spark. But it is present, it is there. The jiva, individual self, is just like that. So, jiva anu, Brahma vibhu. Jiva is the spark, anu, a tiny, just a atom. But the Brahman is a vibhu, is a huge, all-pervading. So that is the way they are explaining. The Shankara and Ramanuja, it goes in this way. Then Shankara, it says that when a jiva passed away, what happens? That means the ghata akasha and mahakasha. Mahakasha means there's the great space. And that space is reflected on the water that is kept on a maybe a tumbler. So the pitcher or the tumbler or the container, the containing the water, getting the reflection of the space. It is space, akasha. Now, if that is broken, where it goes? It goes back to the original. So, can we say it is dead? That particular portion of the space is broken? It is dead? It is gone? No. The same way, when we die, according to Shankara, nothing happens. It goes back to the original because it is all the reflected consciousness. Suppose a piece of the mirror which is being lighted by the reflection of the sunlight, and it is enlightening, the dark room. And for a long time, if you are putting on your skin, you will feel the warmth of the sun. But suppose it breaks again and falls somewhere. Do you think that that particular light is gone? No. It was never there. So that is Shankara's. So Ghatakasha, Mahakasha. In the Sanskrit they say, but Ramanuja says, no. The jiva is the part of the Brahman. So that is the way you have to understand. Now the Shankaracharya says, Tat Tvam Asi. The Vedanta Bhakya, Tat Tvam Asi. Tvam means thou, Tvam means you, Tat means that, Brahman, Asi, being, you are. You are that Brahman. It's a great statement. I am that. They have that the different way they will prove it, but Ramanuja says no, it cannot be. You may be the ultimately a servant of God. You may go very close to God. You may live in the vicinity of God, but you can never become God. This is the difference. He says we are completely separate, but the Shankara says no, we are not separate. It is a mistake. Unless and until we accept the Advaita Vedanta, there is no end to the suffering. Even if we go near to God, there is a duality. The God is separate, I am separate. For some time I may be happy in the company of God, but maybe the God is compassionate to someone else more than me. There will come the jealousy. And it is true. When the Krishna was showing some compassion to some of the gopis in the Vrindavan, in the mind of the Radha, she was feeling jealous. And all the stories proves that whenever there is a duality, the conflict is naturally possible. It should be there, it will be there. So to go beyond the complete cessation of the suffering, Advaita Vedanta is the only answer. There are, in this way, the Shankara and Ramanuja, the beautiful discussions are there. The friends, the time is up. So this, in brief, we can say these two great personalities, they are giving us the path to reach to the ultimate, one in a qualified way to reach to the ultimate, another in the direct way, and it depends on our understanding. It depends on our practicing. But ultimately, both are taking us to the same goal where we will be eternal, where we will have complete knowledge, where we will be blissful eternally. Thank you, friends, and we pay our homage and respect to these great two acharyas, the teachers. Thank you.
Alpana Ghosh is asking, please tell us something about absolute reality and empirical reality.
You have already asked that question. That which is empirical is temporary. The reality is there. You can use the word reality. That means it is there, but for a time being. The time may be million years, but still it is a time, limited time. But absolute, there is no time frame in that way. This is the difference. So, thank you, friends. Thank you for listening to us. And let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat.